Hi, welcome to Ruts4x4. Today we're going to go through some very simple and basic winching techniques and what situations that you can use them in. Depending on what sort of situation that you're in will depend on what kind of winch configuration that you need, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get started, one of the most important points I want to raise to you is knowing your equipment. Things like isolations, some winches like mine's got a little isolation on the bonnet so that it can't be turned on when you don't want it. And other little things like how big's your winch? For example, I'm using a 12,000 pound winch with a Dyneema rope on it. The very first winch configuration we're going to talk about is a single line pull. Well, there's just not enough traction here to do this safely, so let's run the winch out and do a single line pull to finish this hill off. Well, there we go. It's time to run the winch out. One of the first things that we need to do before you start anything is make sure that your car's secure. Put it in park, shut it down, put the handbrake on. You don't want to go anywhere where you're getting everything ready. So after you've made sure your car's all nice and secure, go out and grab all your gear. So for a single line pull today, we're going to use a winch dampener, a tree trunk protector, and a bow shackle. Now if you don't have a winch dampener, you can use anything like a jacket, dryzer bone, anything like that. Let's go find a tree to winch off. Alright, so what we've got here is the tree that I've chosen that I'm going to use for my single line pull up this hill. I've chosen this tree for a few reasons. First one is it is dead in line with the front of the car and where I want to go. It may not be in the middle of the track, but all I need to do is get over that bit where I'm struggling. A few things you want to check for. Make sure the tree's actually alive. It's not dead, it's not rotten. Good way to tell that. Has it got any green leaves on it? Yep. So, let's get everything hooked up. My tree trunk protector and everything. Let's do it. Okay, so now I'm going to put my bow shackle on. Now, it is good practice to try and minimise the amount of metal and things that you use in any of your rigs that you're setting up, because obviously they're going to turn into projectile hazards. But my hook doesn't quite fit through both of these, so I have to use a bow shackle. Like whenever you're using a bow shackle, do it up all the way, and then back a turn. Connect your hook on, just like that. Now this is where I like to call the line and the rig being live. So this is where you're going to get anybody and everybody out of the way. If these things go, they can and they will kill people. So with the rig run out, the next most important thing in my eyes to do is put a winch dampener on. As I said before, this could be a jacket, could be anything. This one here that I've got is a one. Now they just Velcro over the line. The best idea is to put them in that last third, and when I say last third, I mean closest end of the hook of your rig. The idea of that is that if worst case possible scenario happens, your line snaps, it'll slow down any projectiles or any line as it heads back wherever it's going to go. And that's the thing, it is completely unpredictable. It's basically, in layman's terms, a big air brake. That's it. Now some of them, like this one, have got little pockets in them, as you can see here. So if you're on a beach or anything, or even here where I am now, if I really wanted to, I could fill that up with dirt and sand. Don't put rocks in it. So it's pretty easy to put on. Just around like that. Velcro it over. Make sure it's on there nice and secure. And you're good to go. So I've just gotten over that little section that was giving me a bit of grief. The rest of it I think I'll be able to drive pretty easily. So that's a single line pull. Now, if you were finding that your winch was struggling a little bit, or you're on a much steeper hill or anything like that, you can move on to a double and a triple line pull. These will also help slow your winch down a bit. So if you need that little bit extra control, you've got it. So we'll do that now. So to perform a double or a triple line pull, we're gonna have to mix up our rig a little bit. And that means that I'm gonna have to go and grab another bit of kit called a snatch block, not for use during snatches. So this is a snatch block. Essentially, it is just a pulley that we're gonna run our winch through. Now, it's a bit of a myth that adding a snatch block into your rig will double the power of your winch. It doesn't happen, it can't happen. Physically, it's impossible. You can't turn a 4 horsepower motor or an 8 horsepower motor into an 8 or a 16 horsepower motor by simply adding a pulley somewhere up the line. All we're really doing is locking your car, changing gears. That's it, we're just changing the gearing of your winch. Now that will slow the winch pull down, and it's also going to halve the load, and I'll use that word again, load on your winch. Now, if we add another snatch block in after that, so we're gonna use 2, and that's for a triple line pull, we're gonna drop that load down on your winch again by another 1/3. So that doesn't mean adding 4 snatch blocks means that you've got no load on your winch. It just means we're reducing it each time. So let's go put this in line and we'll show you how to rig it up. Now this is where I've seen a lot of people make really funny mistakes. Open your snatch block up, run your cable back through. Oop. Don't try and put your snatch block on before you run your cable through. You won't get the hook through. Then simply, which I've made look a lot more difficult than I needed to, attach your snatch block to your D-shackle or your bow shackle. Again, with your, do it up all the way, turn it back. And then with your other end of your hook, what are you gonna do with that? We're gonna run that back down to the front of our car. We're all set up, everything's ready to go, we've done our final checks. So next thing to do is just make sure that you've cleared everybody away, and I'm just going to double check on the comms number sitting up on top of the hill, just make sure that we're all good and that he's ready to winch. You right, Jay, you ready to go, mate?
Everyone is standing clear, mate, you are clear to winch.
Roger, winching.
No worries, mate, winching now.
So that there shows you how to set up a double line pull. Now, the next one up from that is a triple line pull. So you're gonna need another snatch block, put it on the front of your car. You're gonna run the exact same thing that I did at the tree before. You're gonna run your rope back through that and then back to the tree. If you're gonna use a triple line pull for something, you are well stuck. So if you're stuck in anything like that, that could be mud, very, very steep hill, you could be stuck on a rock, anything like that, assist your car as much as you can. If that means getting some max tracks out, having a dig, do all that sort of stuff. As we always say, when you're stuck, you have nothing but time to use. So think about what you're doing, think it through. It's better to be safe than sorry. Now, apart from double and triple line pulls with your snatch blocks, you can also use them to get some really cool little angles going on your winch. So that could mean running it to a tree and then to help and assist a mate roll or winch down a hill if he needs a bit of extra braking power behind him, or to winch somebody up a hill if you just can't get your car to that peak. It's a lot safer to have you down another hill, going to a tree and down to winch somebody back up. So I hope you've learned something from today and can take it away, and just remember, stay safe out on the tracks.